right. You guys figure Ohio State wins this one Saturday by about 50? Is that what we've got? That's pretty much the consensus. Oh, we got Greg Peterson on the line from Husker Online. Greg, how you doing?
I say 48.
48. Okay, 48. No.
Greg, you're not the photographer that did his own selfie out in the middle of the field after they gave away that one game a few weeks ago, are you? Where he
Well, I look that old. Come on, Mark. That guy had a big old gray beard going on, and I've never seen that guy in my life. I think he lives in Minnesota.
Okay. All right.
He's not even. He doesn't do Nebraska games in Lincoln. That's for sure.
Wow.
Everybody, it's Greg Peterson, Husker Online, joins me every Tuesday night. Well, we're kind of floating it at this point because of the playoff announcement. But anyway, every week on our Nebraska channel, we got Greg and myself chopping it up on Nebraska football. I guess, Greg, if Nebraska loses this game to Ohio State by one score, I'm going to make up some kind of conspiracy theory. I don't know what it's going to be, but this is just uncanny what this team does every week.
Well, if they do, they're going to be scrambling at the end of the game to make it a one-score game when there's the clock's running out. In my opinion. So, yeah, we'll see. But historically, against Ohio State, doesn't usually end up that way.
Well, after what we saw this past week with Ohio State against Penn State, I wouldn't put anything past the Big Ten officials. They're just corrupt enough to keep Nebraska in every game, but not corrupt enough to let them win any of them. So I don't know.
All right. So we got Greg for the next 15 minutes or so. You guys can fire away on what's wrong with the Huskers or what's right. We just mentioned right before you jumped on talking about Heisman Trophy candidates that Nebraska, one of the few that held down Kenneth Walker at Michigan State, 19 carries for 61 yards. So you got some black shirts over there.
Well, that's the one bright spot on the team is a defense that's playing at a high level. Maybe doesn't have the statistics that you're looking for. They're not one of the top teams in the Big Ten statistically, but, they play a tough-nosed defense, and they keep this team in games. And if the offense wasn't putting them in horrible positions, you'd have a lot better statistics. So, yeah, the black shirts, they're not intimidated by Ohio State. They're looking at it as a challenge. The question is if the offense can, hold up their end of the bargain. That's been the struggle all year for Nebraska, and defensively, Ohio State's going to get what they're going to get. Everybody knows that. But if the Nebraska defense can play well enough to keep them in the game, and you never know what happens. It's been a wacky year so far. Anything can happen on Saturdays in the Big Ten so far.
It's been almost a year since Nebraska lost a game by more than one score. And you just see the way they do it not every week, obviously, but the way they lose games. And you just wait for Adrian Martinez to do something that he shouldn't. And it looks to me when I'm watching that Adrian Martinez is also waiting for him to do something he shouldn't. And is the situation with Logan Smothers behind him, are they so far distanced that there's no push there?
Yeah, they are. Unfortunately, Husker fans won't like me saying that. Everybody's clamoring to give Logan Smothers a shot. But they're not the same quarterback. Mark and I talked about this on Monday, that you really want to give Logan Smothers his first ever start against Ohio State. That just doesn't add up to anything good going to be happening for Nebraska. Obviously Adrian Martinez has had two bad games in a row after he's been playing at a pretty high level the rest of the season. So, Logan Smothers just, he doesn't have any experience, and he's a talented kid, but he's kind of he's a better runner than he is a passer at this point of his career. Not to say that he's a bad passing quarterback, but he just doesn't have all the throws in his repertoire that Adrian Martinez does. If you had Logan Smothers in there, I think you'd see just a heavy dose of run the ball. So yeah, it would really limit Nebraska's offensive attack if you're starting the Logan Smothers against Ohio State on Saturday.
The Ohio State had a quarterback about 20 years ago, Steve Belisari, who was referred to by some in the program kind of as a coach killer because he was really good in practice and he could do some things and would, he was better than the other guys and was capable of so much, but then he would find ways to make mistakes in the games. And it just feels like as long as Scott Frost is tied, like he is completely tied to Adrian Martinez right now. And can he withstand that this year and be back next year?
Well, that's a really interesting question that's been talked about quite a bit. And the way things are going right now, up until the last couple of games, Adrian Martinez might have been coming back for a sixth year, actually, in my mind, and the way he was talking and stuff. But the way things have happened since then, and the way the fan base is very frustrated, I think it would be a huge ask to bring back both Scott Frost and Adrian Martinez next year. Scott Frost probably coming back next year just because, bottom line, it's a money situation. You're building a brand new facility right now with construction going on daily during practice. And, economically, it just doesn't make any sense to get rid of Scott Frost this year. But, bringing both of them back, I don't think this fan base will stand for it. And why, at this point, if you're Adrian Martinez, why do you want to come back here? Seriously, it's been a train wreck. I mean, he's had some moments, but nothing has fallen the way that everybody kind of expected it to fall after his freshman year.
Yeah, looking at Martinez through the years against Ohio State, he averages 15, 16 carries a game, somewhere in the 80-yard mark. I mean, mobile quarterbacks are always a challenge, but I look at somebody who does a good job of running against Ohio State. I look at Nebraska's numbers. Let me pull it here. Like in the last 3 games, they haven't broken the 140-yard mark running the ball. I mean, how much of the rushing attack will be Adrian Martinez, and how much of the rushing attack should be Adrian Martinez this week?
Well, if you go back, Kevin, to last week, Nebraska had 115 yards in the first half. Jacquez Yant had 2 long runs of 33 yards and 18 yards. And Nebraska came out with a 17-14 lead against Purdue into the second half and went 3 and out and then abandoned the running game. Just completely abandoned it. And just started trying to play fast and then started making a bunch of mistakes. So ideally, you want Adrian Martinez to run, a good 7 or 8 designed runs. And then, you're going to see another, 6 or 7 option plays. And then if he's going to be and that's as much as you really want him running the ball right there. Anything else on that is going to be scrambling around because, things have fallen apart and he's just running around to save his life. And, because there was a holding penalty on first down and now it's, 1st and 20. And trying to make something happen when there's nothing there. Last week as well, he had one of those scramble plays that he could have had a first down on and kind of gave himself up. I know Coach Frost was not happy with that, called him out on the sideline after that play and really thought that he just wasn't given that effort that he should have. So, ideally you don't want him having to run the ball more than he has to because, quite frankly, you have 2 capable running backs that are very capable of sharing the load, kind of a thunder and lightning package with Ramir Johnson and Jacquez Yant right now. And if Nebraska would just dedicate themselves to running the ball and limit Ohio State's touches on offense, I think that they can stay in the game for 3 quarters or so. So that's kind of ideally what you want. You just don't want him running too much.
Right.